Today we're going to be taking a look at the top 5 passives in Injustice 2 Mobile. Keep in mind that whenever I pick a character that has multiple passives and put him on the list, I'm only going to be taking one passive into account. So it doesn't matter if that character has 3, I'm only going to be picking 1. Coming in at number 5 is going to be Entangling Poison Ivy's passive 2, called Toxins. What this passive does is it gives you 75% additional damage over time on basic and swipe attacks, and that's when you reach level 5. So the main reason why this passive came in at number 5 is because this passive makes her teammates, or in other words Last Laugh Joker and Heartbreaker Harley Quinn, turn into absolute monsters in terms of how much damage they're going to be doing. As a matter of fact, I really do feel like without Entangling Poison Ivy, Last Laugh Joker and Heartbreaker Harley Quinn, they're just not as good, not even close to being as good. And I think it says a lot when you can turn two moderate characters into absolute monsters when you throw them into pretty much any game mode. Because like I said, the amount of damage that Last Laugh Joker and Heartbreaker Harley Quinn are now going to be doing with Entangling Poison Ivy and their team is going to be ridiculously high. Now, even though for me personally, I don't tend to worry how much damage I'm going to be doing in raids or in solo raids, I can't deny that for a lot of people who really like doing a lot of damage, Heartbreaker Harley Quinn and Last Laugh Joker are their go-to characters, and they always pair them up with Entangling Poison Ivy. Before I move on, I just wanted to say that I didn't really want to add Entangling Poison Ivy because her passive 2 only works for League of Anarchy teammates. However, again, just because Last Laugh Joker and Heartbreaker Harley Quinn are super popular because they do a lot of damage and a lot of people care about doing a lot of damage, I couldn't really ignore the fact that Entangling Poison Ivy has one of the best supportive passives in the entire game. Moving on to number 4 is going to be Justice League The Flash's passive 1, called HYPERSPEED Assault. What the first part of this passive basically does is it gives you an extra hit on your fast attack hits. So for example, most characters in Injustice 2 have 2 hits on their fast attack. If you add Justice League The Flash, they're going to have 3 hits on their fast attack instead. And if you have a character who already has 3 hits on their fast attacks, now if you add Justice League The Flash, they're going to have 4 hits on their fast attack. This has honestly been one of my favorite passives ever since it came out because it's super simple yet super helpful. So with this passive you can do 2 main things. Number 1 is you can have a lot of basic attack damage. Now obviously that works really great for the team that Justice League The Flash is in, which is the Justice League team, because they do a lot of basic attack damage. But the really cool thing about Justice League The Flash is that you can use them with anybody else if you want to add a lot of basic attack damage to somebody else. And for me personally, I really like hopping into arena with a really strong team that has really strong basic attack hits because I can defeat my opponents really easily. You can also use this to your advantage in solo raids or in regular raids if you really want to as well, because you can also be doing extra basic attack damage with Justice League The Flash in solo raids and in regular raids. And in addition, if you really want an amazing combo builder to help out your damage dealer, well, Justice League The Flash is your man. So with all that being said, again, Justice League The Flash is a really simple character, yet a really useful character as well. And it's all thanks to his passive 1. Moving on to number 3 is going to be King of Atlantis Aquaman's passive 1, which is called Building Tsunami. Now before I say anything else, I just want to say that if there is any character on this list that I am completely biased for, it is going to be King of Atlantis Aquaman, so I totally understand if you disagree. Now, I think we can all agree that this passive is by no means a bad passive, but I can totally see that some people don't think that this passive is top 3 passives in the game. So the reason why I put it here is very simple. King of Atlantis Aquaman, as great as OP as he is in solo raids and raids, even in arena, even in Champions Arena, he is still a very easy character to get, even for beginners. Now, this is a really big deal, because even though I personally don't care a lot about damage nowadays, if you're a beginner and you don't have a lot of characters, you could still unlock King of Atlantis Aquaman relatively easy, and you're going to be wanting to do as much damage as possible, so that way you can get higher up in the rankings, you can finish solo raids a little bit faster, and that way you get a lot more rewards a lot quicker. And King of Atlantis Aquaman is going to be able to do this with his passive 1 and also with his special 3. Now I understand that I'm not going to be taking any specials into consideration for this video, but at the same time, his passive 1 is not something to scoff over, because remember, in raids, both in regular raids and in solo raids, you can be getting some really amazing rewards depending on how much damage that you do. And as I said, King of Atlantis Aquaman is going to be a very easy character to get for beginners, and so if you really need the rewards, if you don't have a really big roster, this guy is going to help you out a lot. So basically what his passive 1 does is it gives you buffs every single time that you use a special ability. When you use your special 1, you're going to get 50% more damage, and when you use your special 2 or special 3, you're going to be getting 100% more damage. These buffs stack up to 600% and they only work in raid modes. But as a beginner, like I said, this passive is going to help you out a lot even if it only works in raids. I will say though that I really wish that we had an arena version of this. Maybe it wouldn't go up to 600%, maybe only up to like 300% or something like that. That would be really nice. But either way, it's still an amazing passive. Moving on to number 2 is going to be Shazam's passive 1 called Courage of Achilles. So basically what this passive does is it gives you 100% attack for Arcane and Might teammates. Keep in mind that when you're using Arcane or Might teammates, when they get that 100% attack, it's only going to be of their base attack. However, even then, you cannot complain because this passive is really awesome. The only sort of hiccup or downfall with this passive is really simply the fact that it only works for Might and Arcane teammates. But the big saving grace with this is the fact that there's a lot of really great Arcane and Might characters out there that you can pair up with Shazam. Now, this kind of reminds me of Justice League The Flash, because this passive is very simple, everybody can understand it, and it's incredibly useful, so that's why it's going to be coming in at number 2. And now we move on to number 1. What is the best passive in the game? I'm pretty sure all of you guys have guessed it by now. It's definitely got to go to Silver Dr. Fate's passive 1 called Twist of Fate. So the thing that makes this passive so awesome and hands down my favorite passive in the entire game is very simply the fact that whenever you have Dr. Fate on your team, his passive will make it so that your special abilities cost 2 power bars less. And this works for any teammate and in any game mode. And also, because he's a silver character, he's very easy to get. In case you're wondering where to get his shards, he is located in chapter 8 in the campaign. And also, if you want to test your luck, he's also located in the chests, obviously because he's a silver character. Another really nice thing about Dr. Fate is that you only have to promote him up to 4 stars in order to make it so that his passive reduces the amount that special abilities cost by 2 power bars. When he's below 4 stars, it'll simply be reduced by 1 power bar. Now, while I'm talking about Dr. Fate, I should also talk about Power Girl, because the first part of her only passive, which is called Solar Energy Absorption, also does the exact same thing as Silver Dr. Fate's passive that reduces 2 power bars for abilities cost. Now, the only reason why I put Dr. Fate first is because he's a little bit easier to get, and also he has another part of his passive that basically reduces the amount of defense that your opponent has. It's only 10% when you promote him to 5 stars, so again, it's not a big deal, but technically speaking, you could be doing more damage with that. Also, just for me personally, I started playing the game when it first came out, and you know, Dr. Fate was here first before Power Girl, so I kind of consider him to be the real OG. However, Power Girl also has her benefits, like for example, she's a gold character, so that means that her stats are going to be a little bit better than a silver character like Dr. Fate, and also if you go join a league, you can really easily get her gears off of raid drops. It's still random, but you know, at least that's that. With Dr. Fate, you're gonna have to level him up. But honestly, it's not really a competition. If you prefer Power Girl, that's great. If you prefer Silver Dr. Fate, that's great as well, because at the end of the day, they both do the exact same thing with their really awesome passives. Anyways, guys, that's the end of the list. Let me know what you guys think down below. Do you guys think a better character has a better passive? Do you disagree with somebody that I put in the list? I'm open to hear anything and any opinions that you guys might have. I think for me personally, I'm going to make another video of these, but instead it's going to be my personal opinion. I try to be as objective as possible when I do top 5s. But I think when I do the next top 5 best passives, it's going to be like my favorite passives in the game. Like for example, I really like Nightwing's, because 50% of the time you're going to be blocking whenever you're fighting, and so you might as well generate power from that, and Nightwing allows you to do that, which is really badass in my opinion. Also, one more thing before I leave, for those of you that did not join my stream yesterday, I am not going to be streaming probably for the next week or so, just because my room is getting a little bit remodeled, and so I kind of have to take all the stuff out of my room. But as soon as I get everything back in, you better believe I'm going to stream once again, and we're going to have a really good time. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys have a nice day, stay safe and stay clean, and I'll see you guys later.